All right. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And there we go. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Oh, there you go. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So before I start, pop quiz. Uh,
Like
uh, what are the two types of grants we write?
A letter grant and a grant application.
Awesome. Thank you. You watch my videos.
Yes, thank you for doing those. They're really helpful.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So letter grants are very straightforward. Okay. Um, we have a template for that, and we just um, those highlighted areas we change and we send it to Ellie PDF, and she mails it, and that's as simple as that. Okay. Uh, grant
Okay, so
application
those are always like hard copies. It's never
almost
like,
always, unless we have an email for them. So you can look that up in Charity Proud if we have an email for them, but majority of the time we don't.
okay.
Okay. For example, in Charity Proud, uh, what I did right now is just went into grant and looked for all the grants uh, which are due between August 1st and August 31st of this year, right? So this month, right? And I had set that up, and I think in one of the video I explained to you how to set those up
right.
for October and moving forward, right?
Mhm.
So these are the 5 grants in August we need to write. 2 of them were later grants. So I did those on August 3rd. Okay. I sent 2 PDFs to Ellie and she already mailed them. So those 2 are done. There are 3 more grants we need to write. Okay. For a total of about $100,000. Okay. Now, the way I work this is whatever they gave me last time, I add the amount to that. So I think Union Pacific gave us 10,000. So I said, okay, let's ask for 25, right?
Okay,
And
yeah, that was my one question, Nirav. Do you have any sort of, I know you said to always ask for more the next time. What kind of guy? So is it usually, do you say double or like how much more do you
so
typically?
I go by, there's no science to it, first of all. Okay.
Okay.
Um, for example, this Georgie's Gidate family, they gave us $2,000 last time. Okay. So I made it 5,000. The Three Little Birds, same thing, 2,000. So I made it 5,000. Okay.
Okay.
Union Pacific was 10,000. So I made 25,000.
Do
Okay.
you feel like if we overreach that sometimes they'll deny or not at all?
Not at all. Take that out of your head, please. That's the one thing one of the reason Food for Thought did not do well before I came in is under ask. Okay. We
Got it.
never asked more than $1,000 before I came in. I
Oh,
got, I mean, first time, my very first, by the way, my very first grant was for Union Pacific 4 years ago. And I wrote it for $10,000. And Ginny was not happy, and that's to say the least. She's like, "What are we doing? We shouldn't be asking for more than 1,000 because they'll deny us, right?" So the point is, they are not. See, in my opinion, they are not in business of denying if they see the, you know, the
the
true need,
value in it. Mhm.
value in it, exactly, right. So if we prove our value, then they may give us less if their budget doesn't allow it. That's fine, right? I've been in a situation where I asked for 25,000, I got $500, right? Which is okay,
Right.
right? Next time I will ask for 5,000 instead of 25,000, right? But no, there's no. I mean, they won't deny you for asking more for sure. Okay, they'll give you a lot less, which is fine, right? But what I've seen is if we ask consistently more, the third time around, they realize what we are doing. For example, Anschutz Family Foundation. So there are 2 Anschutz Foundation who support us. One is called Anschutz Foundation. That's the one which built the hospital, right? Uh,
Mhm.
the CU hospital for $1 billion. So they support us. And then there's Anschutz Family Foundation, which is a much smaller foundation, same family. And I ask 25,000 every time with them, and they always give me 5,000. Okay. Last 3 year history. This year, it seems they may give us 25,000 because she said she wants to come see our pack site. She's coming on September 17th to our pack site to see how we do business. which is always good, right? Because when they hear Bob talking, I think that kind of changes a lot of these things,
Right.
right? So again, it's okay to ask. I don't think it's a huge deal, but I stay about double, but that's up to you, right? I'm not going to micromanage this thing. All right. So we have three of these. These are applications. The way you find out what they're asking is on their website. Okay. So each one of these foundations have their own websites. Okay. So when you go on their website, they will they usually don't manage it themselves. They have third party called Grant Station or something like that managing this process for them. So when you click on their apply, it will take you to a third party thing where you will create an account. And that's why I created that email address for you. So moving forward, I think we should have just one email address, grants@foodforthoughtdenver.org for all these uh, websites, right? And then if you get a response, all of us will get a response because the way Matt set up is that all of us get a copy of that, right? That way, it's not living in my email alone, right? Or your email alone. It's living in central place, but giving access to all three of us or whoever else adds, if somebody else, I thought Ken wanted to join here. So if Ken wants to do it, let's add him also, right? No problem. So we use grants@foodforthoughtdenver.org as a email address, right? And then the password, whatever you guys think is good, let's keep it same password so all of us know at least, right? Um, I used FFTD at 2020 in the past, 2021 in the past. I mean, but if you want, we can just email each other what the password could be. Whoever sets up the first time, let's just email that password to everybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you go to their website, and then what they will ask you is first basic information. So I have a document in that image silo in that video I showed you called basic info. So that has our address, our email address, our phone number, just plain basic stuff. When they ask for contact person, we put Bob as the executive director, but we put our name as the grants contact. Okay. So we use info@foodforthoughtdenver as Bob's email, executive director email, but we put grants@foodforthoughtdenver as a grant notification email so that we can manage the questions and Bob doesn't have to forward those to us. That's the only reason we do that, right? Um, grants tend to be time sensitive. So when they ask a question, especially, we need to respond right away. Okay, that's why Catherine, I had done that Gmail thing, by the way.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
and I'll get back to you, Nirav. They're both connected to my phone, so
Perfect.
I'll read them both, but I
Perfect.
like to just organize it that way.
Perfect. So if you can just let Matt know.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have access to how to set that up.
Okay.
So Matt sets up all the emails for us. So if you can just let him know, he'll take care of it.
Okay.
Okay. So, when they ask questions, we just respond right away, whatever that question may be. In most cases, what I've seen is that questions they're asking, we already answered, but they probably skipped somewhere, right? Or they're asking for more recent information than what we provided. For example, I submitted a grant for Anschutz Family Foundation in June. So at that time, we did not have our this year's fiscal information, right? We didn't have our balance sheet or profit and loss statement completed. We still don't have it, right? So they asked me about a month ago, say, hey, do you have updated information? And I told them we still don't have it. John, is supposed to finish it by end of the month. So I said, in September we'll give it to you, right? So that's usually the extent of questions they may ask. I don't see usually anything beyond that. The other thing is that if we have these grants email in their system, then usually we will find out the results before they send the check. Okay. So, Bob's office gets the check. That may happen 2 weeks later, but 2 weeks before that, you'll get an email saying, hey, congratulations, you got approved for 10,000 or 5,000 or whatever that number is. Or it was difficult decision, we couldn't decide. Fair enough, right? So that's pretty much it in terms of grant applications. everything you will need, I think 90% or more of what you will need to answer those questions you will see in grant application is in that Colorado Common Grant document on Image Silo. I think that has 12, 15, 18 pages. I don't know how many, but that has every piece of information most likely they would ask. Okay. Only thing I've seen which was not there was this COVID response. So I created a new document for that, and that's also there. Right. So one thing I would ask is before you take on any grant, if you can spend next day or so, couple of hours reading that Colorado Common Grant document, because that will be very helpful to you. Okay, because that tells you total picture of what information we usually give out. And then if you have read that, it makes easy also for you. So when you're reading a question, you say, oh yeah, that was in this section or whatever, right? So you don't have to read that whole 12 page again. For example, they almost always ask us, excuse me, okay? This may be Ken. I'm just going to see if he's
He
Ken.
just called me too.
Hello? Hey, Ken, did you get my email?
I didn't. What did it say?
I sent you Zoom link.
Oh, okay. You guys didn't end up coming down to Panera.
Sorry, guys. That was Ken. He's waiting for us at Panera Bread. He didn't see the email I sent him.
Oh, shoot.
She said what?
He's at
He-
Panera.
He's at Panera.
Shoot.
Uh,
Sorry, I didn't know he was part of that because I think I only emailed you two saying that I was sick.
you know,
I didn't know he was part of it either.
he wasn't until like 2 days ago. He says, I want to come. I said, more the merrier. You're welcome to come. And then when you send that email, it didn't register to me that, hey, I had invited him. Because I never send him an address. I just say Panera Bread. And he says, okay, I'll find it. So I was like, okay. So I thought maybe, one of you gave him the address or something. I just didn't know. But I sent him about an hour ago. I sent him an email saying, hey, we are meeting on Zoom. But I guess he just didn't check it soon enough.
Uh-oh, no wonder he just called. I was like, uh-oh, I didn't
Okay.
have.
Sorry about that.
Shoot.
Okay. All right. So, but we are recording, so he can watch. All right. So where were we? So yeah. So one of the questions like they almost always ask is how do we work with other partners? That's very important to almost all grant applications. Okay. And we have a nice blurb about that in that Colorado Common Grant document about how we work with Denver Public Schools and Food Bank of the Rockies. So point I'm trying to make is that any questions they may ask is probably in there. Okay. Let's see. Any questions so far?
I don't think so.
Okay. So one thing I would say, your first grant may take a little bit more just because it's first grant, but I promise you after that, they should go much smoother. So my right now, like these grant applications, I can probably do in less than 40 minutes a pop. Okay. The grant letters is probably 5 to 8 minutes tops. Okay. So reason I'm saying that is it's going to, your first one won't take that less of an amount of time, but in time it's going to really go fast. Okay. So first one may take you 3 times more, 4 times more, just because you don't know where the information is, right? Once you know where to pull this information from, it should go really fast, because I'm saying 98%. Don't quote me on this. I guess we are on record, but but at least 90% of the things is just from that one document you can get easily.
Okay.
Okay, because they all ask the same questions in different way. Okay, so I'm going to show you another screen real quick. So this is our September grants. Okay. These are all the grants we're going to write in September, which is about worth $373,000. Okay.
Wow.
August was 110,000, I think. Okay. That doesn't mean we'll get 373, just that you know, right? For example, let me just go through this one at a time. I can tell you exactly what we're going to get most likely. Okay. Al Pumar Foundation. What? Okay. I didn't click anything, I guess. So, Al Pumar Foundation is in Colorado Springs. They have never given a single penny. Okay. But they're a very big foundation in Colorado. I believe, this is just my personal thought, reason they have not given a single penny is they require audited financial, and we have never given them audited financials. Okay. This will be changed this year. We have audited financials. So when you apply this, don't apply until we have actual audited financial copy with us. That way we are not wasting our time, right? Cecil
When
Family
do we
Fund.
have that officially? Do you know, Nirav?
John told me first week of September, but that doesn't mean a whole lot, right? I mean,
Okay.
it's one of those things where he doesn't have control over this, right?
Right.
So hopefully I'm not logged out. I'm going to refresh this and see if I'm logged out. Yep, I got logged out. Okay. So I'm going to log in again. And I think this is where we were, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do one thing real quick. I'm going to look for the Cecil Family Foundation, what they gave us last time. Okay. So they gave us $5,000 last time. Okay. We are asking for 25. So we had given us 10,000 before once. Okay. These people gave us 10,000. So we are asking for 25. These people give us 5,000. So we are asking for 10,000. So all of these are already, guaranteed to get something because they've been giving us for at least 3-4 years. Okay. These guys will give us again oil price. These guys depend on oil prices. Oil prices down, they don't give us anything. Oil prices up, they give us money. Okay. Because that's their business. So I think this should be good. Oil prices are good right now. These guys give us 2,000. So we're asking for 5. So each one of them, okay, this, let me tell you this, Albertson, we may get full $100,000. They gave us $75,000 last year. Okay. So we may get full 100,000 from them. They have signed up to us and they believe in what we do. Okay. They're based in Idaho, but obviously they own Safeways. So we get 2 grants from Albertson Foundation. One is this food insecurity, which we are applying in September. And one happens, well, we already applied. Technically, we received it, but we don't know how much, because the other one is what they call Albertson Foundation Cares or Safeway Cares or something, where I think 10 stores in Denver metro area has signed us up as their beneficiary. And in October or November, they do this whole month where anybody who comes in, they'll say, would you like to donate $1 to Food for Thought at the checkout? And then when people donate, that's when we will know how much money we received. Last year, we received $28,000 out of that.
Wow.
Okay. So again, reason I'm saying that is these people have really put their, full support behind us. Newmont Ventures, they are gold people, so we should be good there as well. So all of these ones are, okay, this another one, Spain Foundation. They are our big supporter. They are out of Boston. Okay. The first year they gave us 10,000. Next they gave us 25. Then they gave us, last year they gave us 140. But they told me that that's a unique situation. Just because of COVID, they gave us extra money. So this year they asked me to dial down. So I'm putting 75 instead of 100. Okay. But what I'm saying is, other than this Al Pomar Foundation, everyone will give us money on this list. How much is the question? But out of those 373 we are asking, even if they give us half that, that's $150,000, right? Now, only bad thing about this business is you don't know when you will get the money. Like this Payne Foundation will tell you in February. Okay, so you gotta sit around for 5 months to find out whether you got money or not. This guy will tell you in 2 weeks. Okay, this is a personal foundation. His families, he just, once we send them this is a letter proposal. Once we send them a letter proposal, he will, send it to his dad or brother or whoever, and then within a week or two, we'll get the money. So, timing is different for different organizations, but which is fine, right? We're not hurting for money in a sense that we don't need money to operate. That's one thing we do good, is that we kind of are a year in advance, right? We have 1 year of funds in our bank when we start, so there's not too much pressure on us, right? Any question on September? All right. Are you clear on how to create this list? Or would you like me to go through that?
Don't you just go to show search and then pick the 2 dates?
Yeah, so no. That's just because that's created list, right? But how to create it is to go back 1 year.
Oh, right. And then
Right.
add grant on the left-hand
And
side.
exactly, and add new grant and add new task and everything. Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. Ladies, I'm out of ideas.
Great.
I mean,
Should we start on one of those grants?
please. That's why I assigned separate ones to you,
Okay.
right? So if you can start on those, right? Let me open August. I think there are 3 of them. I'm not sure who I assigned what.
I
but-
have UPS and Fidelity Group.
Okay.
So I have to go to their website to find out what the requirements are.
Well, you'll have to first sign up on that. See, all of those grants you will actually enter on the website itself. So you go on the website, create an account, right? And then answer the question right on the website. So on the website, there's a question and there is an open area to answer, and you will copy paste from the document, answer, modify. Now, some of the answers have character restrictions. So they say, not more than 2,000 character, 5,000 character, whatever that may be. So that's where you will have to play with it. For example, if they ask, how you work with other organizations, and we copy paste that Food Bank of the Rockies paragraph, that may have 3,000 characters. They only want 2,500. Then you gotta, say, okay, which sentence, if I take out, it still doesn't lose the meaning of the whole thing, right? So there you may have to play with it.
So I get it now. Sorry, this is coming full circle for me here. Charity Proud is really just where we're logging what we're doing. You're not actually writing the grants in here or in Image Silo. These are just avenues to hold on to what we're doing.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we just have to go out and submit them on their accounts and just create our own account. So our email is going to be grants@foodforthought.org.
Foodforthoughtdenver.org.
Foodforthoughtdenver.org. And then we'll write them out of there and send all our documents from that email and everything.
And see,
And
when
also-
you go into those grants, what you will see is, let's say there are 10 questions. You answer all 10 questions, right? Once you complete that questions, it'll ask you to upload documents. It will say, send your IRS non-profit acceptance letter or something for charitable. So that's where in Image Silo, I have this 990 IRS 501c3 letter. Okay. Then it will say, upload your 990. So that's also, so a lot of those things they would want you to upload. Those are the ones in Image Silo. They will say, give us a list of your board members, give us a list of your budget, right? So all of those documents are up in Image Silo. So you just download it and upload on their portal. That's it.
Can I just download them to my computer so that they're
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can keep that on your computer, so you don't have to go on Image Silo every day. As long as we agree that whenever we make a change in the document, we let other
Each
people
other
who are
know.
writing grants know, so that they know that, hey, I need to have a different document uploaded from Image Silo now, right? So that only thing which is going to change is the finance information on Image Silo right now is preliminary for last year, because John doesn't have a complete final information yet. Once that comes, probably in a month, we will update that. Okay. 990, that's our tax form. That is from a year ago. The new tax form will be here in a month or month and a half. That's when we'll put it in, right? Right now, there is no audit report because we never got audited. But once we have the audit report, we'll upload that, right? Those are the only things I can see changing. Only other thing I change is that Colorado Common Grant, that 12-page or 18-page document, I change that once a year. I update that right around May or June of every year so that we have the latest information as to how many kids we helped, how much food we bought, right? At the end of the year, I update that. So that I don't update more than a year, more than once a year. Unless there's a big change. For example, if Bob comes in a month and says we added 25 schools, right? Then we want to change, say, hey, we instead of saying we support 72 schools, now we say we support 97 schools, right?
Got it.
So if you see a big change like that, then we want to update.
Okay. So you're trusting me with $50,000.
75, it looks like.
Hey, I'm trusting you with 373,000 in September.
I know.
So, no, but that's the
Can we
thing,
start
right?
with can we start with like 100 or?
The point is that, and Bob and I had actually this discussion, and I said, you know what, unless, because I didn't like when someone was micromanaging me, right? It's not a right thing to micromanage, right? What's the worst case? Worst case, instead of getting 10,000, we'll get 5,000. You know, if that happens couple of months, just as a learning example, this is a good year for that to happen in a sense that, you know, we are in good financial position, right? So if we take $10,000 or $20,000 hit just to learn, I think it's more than worth it. I don't think you will. And I told Bob this also. I said, Bob, these ladies will surprise us, and we'll probably be at $5 million next year.
Right. Well, I'm excited.
So
I have till the 31st. That's when it's due, right?
that's the other thing. Even though it's due on 31st, I usually get it done ahead of time
Okay.
because you never know what the technology. Let's say on 31st you went to upload everything on their website, and their website is down.
Gotcha.
Now all of a sudden, right, you're scrambling, say, shoot, what do I do? Right now, a lot of these, some of these are self-imposed deadlines, some of these are not. Okay. So, for example, Albertson is not a self-imposed, but this I think September. This is not self-imposed either, but this Mazak family is, right. So some of them are self-imposed, some of them are not. Okay, but I kind of not wait until last minute. That's my thing.
Right.
You know, I just start, and as I have time, if I'm get done with August, I jump on September's later agreement, because later grants, they don't have any deadlines per se. So I get those done. So I feel like, you know, I got done something, right?
Right.
Like see this Drexler, Cliff Bar, Plunkett 3, Weinstein 4, Giving University 5, and Mazak 6. Those 6 you can probably finish in an hour, and you feel like, hey, you finished 6 grants today, right? Because it's all later grants. So it gives us kind of boost, at least gives me an energy to say, oh, let's continue, right?
And will those say inside of them that they're letter grants, or you just know that?
Yeah, how do you
I know that, but one thing you'll know is one way to find out, just that you know, is the amount is usually smaller on later grants. Okay, that's one. Second is they don't have websites or the forms or anything like that. So on even on the website, sometimes if they have website, it will say, please email us for grant request. So then you know it's a letter grant.
And then you just pull it off of Image Silo and you're done.
Yep. Change the, you know, their names 4 different places, change the amount, and then how many bags that amount helped us last year, and that's it.
Okay, so those are easy.
Yeah.
What about, how do you find, who's finding all of these grants? Like, do you go out and search on the internet once a month, or are there more than just this, or?
So I used to do that. I haven't done that in a long time, just because I wrote 163 grants last year. So, you know, but my gut is, and this is just my gut, I have nothing to prove this, that we have exhausted this maybe at least 80%, if not more. Okay, this is all there is out there, except what we have not exhausted. I talked to Bob about this number of times. I just don't have time for this. Is there are a lot of private foundations in Colorado, right? Like, my family has a private foundation. Number of families have this private foundation, which we are not all of them going after. If somebody has time, if we find an intern who wants to go through, there are databases where we can go through and get all the private foundation in Colorado, right? There are probably 500 of them. Get this in some kind of database and send them an email or letter grant request, just introduction, say, hey, give us 5,000, not more than that, right? There'll be, I don't know what the hit rate would be, but even if 5% of them come back, right, that's a lot of money, right? But that's just, I just don't have bandwidth for that. I talked about it a lot of times. That's one way I think we can increase this program. The second thing, I talked about this in the past, is there are a lot of estate planning attorneys in this town. All of those estate planning attorneys usually help high net worth individuals, 5 million, $10 billion or more net worth. And a lot of those people, they want to do something good with their money when they are dead, right? So if we can get in front of these estate planning attorneys, we talk about at one point doing a brown bag lunch and inviting some estate planning attorneys. Bob went to some radio show, didn't pan out, but if we can do things like that, then we can get access to these smaller foundations, right? Like this is a small foundation, right? But which is fine. If they give us $5,000, if we get 20 of those, that's $100,000, right? And all we have to do is write a 5-minute letter every year.
How about if for the first month or two, while we're getting our wings here, we put Ken in charge of looking for private foundations?
You talk to Ken about that. Okay. If he has time, I think it would be awesome. Because again, that's just, low hanging fruit, and can easily add $100,000 a year for our organization.
So once I finish my grant, I go in here and I update my status to.
So once you finish your grant, you go to your task list. So when you go on your dashboard, you'll have task list here saying, what UPS Foundation or whatever. You click on that, and then you say completed, yes, percent completed 100%. Then you save and close, and then you click on the grant detail. So you have to do it 2 places, and then at grant detail level, you say, okay, so let me just go here. In grant detail, you change from in progress to submitted, and then you put the date here, date of submission, and save and close. So 2 places. One is the grant detail, and one in this grant task, right? That, hey, this task is now complete on this date. It's 100% complete, and then you save and close, right? One thing I do is, let's say Al Pomar Foundation you're writing, and your audit reports are not done yet. So then I would change the deadline, put in a note that audit reports not done. We are moving this deadline to October or something, right?
Gotcha.
Then your task is always up to date.
So I can put my own notes inside of the grants that I want
Absolutely.
to.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
In fact, more notes the better, right? That way somebody else is looking at it, they know. For example, what I do is, if I don't submit something, I usually put a note somewhere saying why I didn't submit something. Okay, let me see if I find something which is not submitted. Okay, so I did not apply for this. Okay, this is a perfect example. These guys,
Directive 2030, yeah.
Yeah, so these guys, they gave us 15,000 year one. Year 2 they gave us $500. And this year I looked at that, and they have a specific focus area. They said they want to help people who focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion, right? That's not our focus, right? We are after hunger. So I put a note here. There was no other place to note. So I just put a project name. We don't meet the focus area this year. So you know why I didn't apply it, right? More information we can put in here, better it is in terms of, you know,
Being able to follow up on
if
it, right?
I'm in a hospital, somebody needs to read this, they know exactly what happened, right?
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, if I have any questions, I'll email both of you and just
Yep,
make my way through it.
awesome. And I'll assign those Septembers as well.
Okay.
That's not in a task list yet, so I'll do that once we hang up.
Okay. And then that's my next question. I hate to bring it up, but I want to just know kind of what we're thinking in terms of sort of roles and responsibilities and who's going to do it. I'm a little nervous just because I don't know what everyone else's situation is, but I have still a pretty demanding job. And so I'm working like 50 hours a week, probably minimum. And so just want to be able to plan the time. And I love the way this is set up, that it's sort of like monthly tasks, because like I can obviously, you know, carve out time for that. But I'm just curious, like who's going to be on point for what?
So, you know, again, first month, you know, like right now you have 1 or 2 grants in August, so it shouldn't take long, right?
No.
These grants in September, my gut is, because you're starting out fresh between the two of you, it will probably take 40 hours a month for September. Okay. I don't think it'll take more than that.
Could we
Okay.
do it this way? Because again, like Catherine, I mean, we're gone almost 3 weeks in September traveling. And I work also full time, and then I have some new challenges. But can we just get into each one that we're gonna do? Like if I have time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take Alpomar today. And then just be, instead of being assigned something, can we just go in and do them? Or is that too broad because then we don't know who's doing what?
We don't know who's doing what, and then also it's tough for Charity Proud to manage where it's going, right? But what we can do is, let me see, just 1 second, okay? I think this is doable. Let me check something. What I want, before I say yes. So what I can do is, let's say I assign these to Sandy, right? But then I can CC these to Catherine. And reason being, that means when this is done, she'll get notification that, hey, it's done. Does that help or not really?
No, I like that a lot.
Okay, so we'll do it that way.
And if I get in a bind and I'm like, I just know this month I can't do this or this, I'll just communicate with you and say, I'm
Exactly.
out for September,
Can
or I
anyone
could be-
help? Yeah.
or I
Exactly.
could
Yeah.
and in
Yeah.
October or whatever. So we'll just communicate with each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Perfect. All right,
Yeah,
then I
and I
just
think-
assigned you Cecil.
Now that I think about it, having Ken in here too, that'll even give us more
I
opportunity.
know.
Yep. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Rather
I'm
than
just-
putting him on a different task, I think we'll keep him on this too.
That's
I
what I
know
was
it
going
might
to say.
be
Instead of,
helpful at the start, just while we're still kind of slow, to help kind of spread
yeah,
it.
I think if all three of you focus on this right now, instead of him doing those estate planning attorneys yet, after a couple of months, see,
Right.
so the grants come in waves. Okay, so September is a heavy month. Then November, October, November, heavy month, but they are only heavy month for later grants. Okay, because of Christmas, a lot of people give us money in December. So those are small foundations. Those are 5-minute grants. Okay, December is an easy month. Hardly anything happens in December, because whatever money coming in December, we already asked for in October, November. Okay, so they come in waves. Some month, you know, you hardly have it. Like July had 7 grants. August we have 5 grants, right? So they come in waves.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
All right.
And I'm here September, Sandy, so I can probably help.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
that.
I'm a tough, and then I'm settled in on October, November. So
Cool.
Perfect. And Catherine, if you get bogged down in grants, then and Bob, I mentioned this to Bob, that he may want to find somebody else for volunteer in that case, because
Okay.
that adds additional work for you, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, definitely.
so I did mention to him, so that way you can focus on one thing, right?
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
I'm excited. Thank you for, I'm
too.
so excited.
And we can all either, at some time, if we ever have Catherine, you or Narab, if we have time to go to a coffee shop and we're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do 5 grants
Just
today. Each
do
of us
some,
get together.
yeah,
We'll have a coffee shop and just pound them out.
that would
Yeah.
be great, because then if we have quick questions, we can ask each other, and
Absolutely.
And I'll just kind of do it at the same time. So,
yeah, that
Absolutely.
would be great.
all
Absolutely.
right. Sounds good. I'm excited. All
right. Thank you both.
Thank you, Nirav.
Make Catherine feel better soon.
Thank you.
Feel better. Take care.
Yeah, sorry for this.
No worries. Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, bye.